It's 3 p.m. We're bringing developing news and the stories.
Behind the headlines, this is Storycon. I'm Virginia Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. Sorry, it's an early Star Conference, a special coverage of One News regarding today's
Big breaking
activities.
news: former President Rodrigo Duterte being arrested.
Okay, let's bring in our first report for today for the show. It's Merimon Reyes reporting to us live from, I believe, Villamor Air Base in Pasay City. Merimon is still pending. Anyway, let's do a quick recap siguro muna of what has happened so far. Okay,
Madaling. Oh, do we
Merimon,
have?
are you here?
I think we have her.
Merimon,
Yes, good afternoon.
asan ka ngayon?
Nandito ako ngayon sa labas ng Villamor Air Base kung saan sa ngayon wala pang ibang nagaganap. Kasi umalis na rin dito ang ilan sa mga kaalyansa ng dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na sina Atty. Extradition, Atty. Vic Rodriguez, ang aktor na si Philip Salvador, and even ito nga si Senator Bongo. Kaya so far, naka-standby kami dito, mga members ng press, and even yung mga supporters mula sa Duterte Youth Party List at yung iba pa na tanyag lang naman daw na sinusuportahan at inaabangan yung paglaya ng dating Pangulo.
Merimon, do we know where they went? Kasi we just nakausap natin si former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque just a few minutes ago, just via text. And he said that they are filing something today. We don't know yet what. Pero yung mga nakaalis na, do you know where they went?
Ms. Reg, kanina kasi supposedly itong senator ni Israelito Torion is ina-expect nila or inaasahan nila na makakapasok din sila dito sa Villamor. Pero after ilang minutes ng pakikipag-usap dito sa gate, hindi rin sila pinapasok at agad silang sumakay sa kanilang sasakyan at umalis. Nung tinanong natin sila ng mabilisan ng ambush interview kung ano yung sunod nilang gagawin, saan sila pupunta, hindi nila tayo binigyan ng konfirmasyon. Pero ilan sa mga inaabangan natin na potential na next locations ng grupo nga nito o panic ni Duterte, pwedeng makikita natin siya, sundin natin siya sa Kapkrame, sa Cardinal Santos sa Medical Center, and even tinignan din natin yung possibility na baka mapunta rin sa Veterans Memorial Medical Center nung si Duterte. Dahil nasabi ka rin na ni Atty. Silvestre Bello na base sa sinabi sa kanyang informasyon ni dating General Alex Polo Monte Aguda, dadalhin din daw o posibleng madala rin sa veterans itong si Duterte. Pero kanina naman sinagawa din yung check-up, tinignan yung blood pressure ng dating Pangulo at so far wala naman tayo nakuhang informasyon kung meron pang alerto sa sitwasyon o kondisyon ni Duterte.
May idea ba tayo, Merimon, kung bakit nandyan pa rin si dating Pangulo Duterte? Why Villamor Air Base? Why not, for example, yung nga, Veterans Memorial or one of the...
PNP facility.
Even the PNP has its own hospital facility.
According kay Philippine Air Force spokesperson Colonel Maria Consuelo Castillo, hindi naman na raw unusual yung detention ni Duterte dito sa Villamor Air Base. Hindi normal lang daw na gamitin itong secured base facilities para sa arrival or departure points for air movement ng certain important personalities. So bukod doon sa security purposes at pag-hold sa kanya dito sa Villamor Air Base, titingnan din natin kung magkakaroon ba ng possibility na may iba bang pupuntahan, magkakaroon ba ng chartered flight, possibly kung sa Netherlands ba, kung dediretso ba itong si Duterte, o mananatili lang muna talaga siya dito hanggang sa mga susunod na oras.
Do we know exactly which room he's being held in, Merimon, and sino yung kasama niya inside the room?
So far, pagdating doon sa kwarto, mukhang VIP room ito sa loob ng Villamor Air Base. At base sa mga nakikita rin natin online, ilan sa mga kasama dito ni Duterte, bukod kanila Medialdea, ay ito nga kanyang anak na si Kitty Duterte. No signs of VP Sara Duterte whatsoever. And yung ilan sa mga kaalyado nga ni Duterte, sila Senator Bongo, wala nga pagkakataon o hindi nakuha yung pagkakataon na makapasok at mapuntahan ng personal itong si Duterte.
Balik ko lang yung sinabi mo kanina about the reason why Duterte is being kept in Villamor. Are we saying that this is a transition point for the former president because he's going to be taken out of the country na? I asked it kasi I've also seen other opinions from other lawyers that state that yung proseso medyo mahaba-haba pa, hindi yan bigla-biglaan na basta in one day.
Yes, Sir Ed. Actually, isa pa sa tinitingnan dito ng panig ni Duterte, base sa sinabi niyang kanyang mga legal counsel na sina Bello, gusto pa raw nilang ma-verify kung totoo ba itong warrant of arrest na inaim daw kay Duterte. Even if merong confirmation mula sa Presidential Communications Office tungkol dito sa warrant, sabi nila wala pa rin daw silang nakikita na warrant of arrest. So ilan sa kanila tinitingnan nila na posible raw na illegal o violation daw sa karapatang pantao ng dating Pangulo yung pag-host custody sa kanya dito nang hindi pa raw nakikita yung warrant of arrest. Pero base rin sa sinabi ng ICC Assistant to Counsel si Attorney Cristina Conti, supposedly kapag arestado ang isang tao under warrant of arrest ng ICC ay dapat ito turn over na ito sa law enforcement officer ng isang member state and supposedly to be flown sa Hague o sa Netherlands ASAP. Pero since nandito pa tayo ngayon at ito nga sila Attorney Torion ay may ginagawa ngayon na legal move, kasama na dito yung possibility na paghingi nila ng hospital detention dahil nga kung sakaling ma-detain daw itong si Duterte, titignan pa natin sa mga susunod na oras ang development kung sino na nga ba ang sunod na mag-host custody dito kay Duterte.
Okay.
Who is the lead counsel here, Marymon? Because there are a lot of names that are coming up now. So we know si Attorney Martin Delgra formerly of LTFRB, for instance, is counsel officially. Tapos na-mention mo si former Secretary Bello. Former spokesperson Attorney Harry Roque, I think, is also part of the legal team. Pero hindi klaro at this point sino talaga yung lead counsel and who's leading the legal defense of former President Duterte.
Yes, Ms. Rich, dito kasi ngayon ang mga nakakausap natin ay si Attorney Torion, si Attorney Silvestre Bello. So far sa kanila tayo nakakakuha ng impormasyon. Pagka tinatanong din natin sila kung ano yung sitwasyon sa loob, ang nasasabi nila, hindi pa raw nila nakakausap ng maayos o malinaw pa itong sina Attorney Amedeo Aldea. Kaya hindi rin daw nila maisagot kung ano nga ba yung status ni Pangulong Duterte sa loob. Pero so far sila itong mga tumatayong legal counsels ng dating Pangulo.
Okay. Bok, balikan ko lang yung sinasabi mo kanina dun sa panig ni Duterte, mga abogado, they're questioning what? They're questioning the jurisdiction or they're questioning why an arrest warrant has not been physically served on the former president? Because those are two separate things. One is kung pinakitaan na nga siya ng arrest warrant, which could be done very easily naman. Or number two, whether or not the ICC still has jurisdiction over the Philippines.
Yes, Sir Eddie. Kasama dyan, isa rin sa kine-question nila, lalo-lalo na doon sa pinost na video ng anak ni Pangulong Duterte na si Kitty, kine-question daw kung ano ba yung na-commit na crime ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Kung ano raw yung legal basis ng pagkaka-aresto sa kanya. Kasi nga base sinabi ng kanyang legal counsel, wala pa raw silang natatanggap na warrant of arrest, even if meron ng confirmation mula sa POC. Same goes din doon sa jurisdiction kung dapat daw bang ibigay ng kanilang panig itong kustodiya ni Duterte sa ICC dahil nga sinasabi nga ng Administrasyong Marcos hindi naman daw nila hayaan na mag-take control ang ICC pagdating dito sa jurisdiction sa kaso ni Duterte.
Mm-hmm. Reg, kasi it's interesting that we have an extradition law. It's a presidential decree of 1977 that provides for the procedure, the process in extradition. In this actually is an extradition. It's extradition. If you look at the Interpol website, the Interpol is the one that
Pero
issued the notice.
hindi pa dapat he has to be turned over to a custodial state first? And in
Which
this
is
case,
us.
the custodial state is the Philippines.
It's the Philippines.
So yun yung question at this point. Is he under custodial state, getting prepared to be extradited?
Yeah.
Or
That's where we are now. He's now under the custody of course, the Philippine government. So the next question is whether or not he will be deported immediately to The Hague, as is being sought by, for example, Attorney Conti, or whether or not there will be a long-drawn process. Which would involve going to court. Kasi under the extradition
kasi they
law,
could challenge it.
but under the extradition law of 1977, the Philippine government will have to file a petition with the RTC for extradition. That has to be approved first by the RTC before it can be extradited.
Regarding your question on what they're challenging, they've answered it. The Duterte allies have answered it. For instance, Secretary Panelo has said it's unlawful. The PNP did not allow one of his lawyers to meet him at the airport, and it's an illegal arrest because ICC has no jurisdiction. Kumbaga, they are challenging both fronts. They are saying na hindi na-servan ng arrest warrant. They are also saying that wala din jurisdiction in the first place. So it seems like the defense
Both cases
is both
will likely end up in Supreme Court.
correct. So it seems like they are challenging challenging on both fronts. If you follow the statements of the other Duterte family members and the other Duterte allies, more or less along those lines din eh. We know, for instance, that Veronica Kitty Duterte posted on Instagram stories as well, saying that it's illegal detention, no warrant of arrest. Si Baste Duterte, Mayor Baste Duterte of Davao, also has issued a statement saying they are insisting that PRRD get on a plane to who knows where using an ICC warrant, which does not have jurisdiction in this country. Clowns behaving like clowns again. This has to end. Bongbong Marcos admin is fantasizing that this scenario would materialize, hoping that the issue on the national budget would just go away. The smell of desperation. End quote. Again, that was a statement from Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte. So again, it comes back to the point that they are challenging both the jurisdiction as well as the fact that hindi na-serve ng arrest warrant. Although, as Mary Mon said, the Philippine Presidential Communications Office has already said that madaling araw, tanggap ng Interpol Philippines yung arrest warrant, and then when former President Duterte arrived at 9:20 this morning, that it was served to him.
But I would imagine the first thing that they would want to do, and that they would want to stop, is his physical extradition today. In other words, kasi pag may labas mo na yan sa bansa, mas mahirap na habulin yan as far as they're concerned. So I can imagine that's the first thing that they're trying to stop, that he not be flown out today. And we're joined by Tito Ral Llamas,
who has been very, very busy today.
our political pundit.
Pinapakinggan ko kayo kanina pero ang usapin kasi rito is out of the box. No? Yung mga pinag-uusapan natin kanina doesn't hold. Dahil ito is a special operation.
Because we're not party to the Rome Statute anymore.
Hindi. Dinala siya sa Villamor para ilabas ng alas 5 ng hapon mamaya. No? At kahit mag-file sila ng mga kaso, matatraffic yan. No, matatraffic yan. Hindi yan may implement.
The usual legal traffic.
Matatraffic yan. Hindi lang. Halimbawa, pagpalagay mo lang may nakuha sila, papunta sa Villamor, matraffic eh. So, ilalabas na ng bansa yan, at kung anumang kaso yung hahabulin nila, will be mooted academic.
Okay.
Dahil nailabas na eh.
So that's the plan.
Saan ka magsasampal ng kaso? Sa ICC? Yung people power na pinaplano kagabi pa, no? Kaya nga may mga tumawag kay Digong kagabi para pigilan siya na umuwi muna hanggang hindi na handa. Yung people power na inaasahan, hindi naman sumunod si Digong.
Okay, wait, we'll come back to that. First, we have to let Mary Mon Reyes go. Mary Mon, thank you so much for your report. And then at this point, bring in
our next guest, si former Senator Lala de Lima. Ma'am, magandang hapon and thank you for joining us.
Magandang hapon, Ed, Ronald, and who else is there, please?
Ma'am, si Reg.
On phone pa lang, I'm
Regina
mobile.
Ray.
Good afternoon,
Okay,
ma'am.
Regina, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Magandang hapon,
Yes.
idol.
Thank you for joining us po.
Magandang hapon.
Ma'am, sorry, we need to start off on with a legal question, but please also break it down for us in layman's terms. Kasi there's this big debate as to whether or not somebody who is being extradited should undergo a process first here in the Philippines, or can he already be taken out of the country and, for example, brought to The Hague?
Of course.
Okay, kasi ang alam natin at this point, di ba, may warrant of arrest,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, from the ICC. And then pinadaan sa Interpol. And then the Interpol, in turn, referred it to the Philippine government. That's very apparent from the fact na yung nag-arrest sa kanya ay yung PNP, and per news reports, accompanied by Interpol agents or Interpol officers. I'm just basing this from reports so
Yes,
far, no? So, proseso ay nasunod. Now, depende na rin yan if there are other intermediate steps na usually being undertaken by Interpol kapag merong ganyan na mga referrals sa kanila for implementation. Kasi, the lawyers of Mr. Duterte, I'm sure, are thinking now of certain remedies. Kaya hindi may iwasan na merong mga intermediate steps muna or developments. But then, ang malinaw talaga ay arestado na siya.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And then, ang question is, yung would custody stay with the Philippines as the custodial state. Kasi kung ganon, so dapat ilagay na muna siya sa kung anumang dapat na facility para sa kanya.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
While
if I-
waiting for other developments,
Yes, ma'am.
like for example, kasi kailangan magre-return ng warrant.
Opo, opo.
Kasi yung pagre-return ng warrant, yes, go ahead.
Senator, sabi kasi nung kabilang kampo, kinakailangan ng warrant from a local court. Hindi sapat yung warrant ng ICC. Whether that is true or not, baka magiging moot and academic na yan kung siya ay nailipad na at nadala na sa The Hague. So maraming...
Yeah.
Ito ay hindi simpleng legal this or legal that, no? Tingin ko yung ginagawa ngayon is out of the box, no? Pwede na maghugas
Yes.
kamay diyan yung gobyerno. Wala kami kinalaman diyan eh, no? Wala namang restraining order sa Supreme Court o any courts. So mamayang
Yes.
alas 5 lipad na siya.
Alas 5 talaga, ah.
Narinig ko lang. Narinig ko lang sa
Pwede
isang
yun.
bubuit.
Kasi nga, although yun, well, yung ano nga is that may warrant of arrest from an international court. So it was served on him or inaresto siya in compliance with that warrant of arrest. And then may yung pwedeng mag-return ng warrant,
Yes, ma'am.
pwedeng sa local court o pwede rin sa ICC na mismo sa The Hague. Pero it doesn't mean maghihintay pa ng warrant of arrest from a local court.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Kasi meron...
ma'am, if I
Yes,
may, ma'am,
go ahead.
kasi, given na po na may arrest warrant na ang ICC, that much is clear naman eh. I mean, we also seen the warrant na rin eh. But my question po has to do with this eh. I understand po this is still extradition, technically. It still is extradition, even if it's ICC and Interpol. But we also have this extradition law, PD 1069, which also states that in cases of extradition, before you can fly somebody out, it has to be approved by a court, I think the RTC, and that can be appealed with the Court of Appeals. So that would sound like it's a more long drawn out process than some would like to believe na pwede siyang ilipad ASAP. Ano po, what really is the case here? I mean, you were Justice Secretary before.
Yeah. Okay, kasi, well, hindi talaga maiiwasan na this is considered also like an extradition case. Kasi yung mga other cases na dumadaan talaga sa Interpol ay ganon, yung talagang out and out na mga extradition. Now, this particular, this situation, ICC, iba ang jurisdiction yan, although may pagka similar to extradition, is that this is of different, this of different kind. Na, yung iba yung special jurisdiction ng ICC. So we cannot really categorically say na kailangan dumaan muna ng formal sa extradition process. Pwede rin, pwedeng hindi. Kasi nga, this is something, that's not really, the ICC did not ask for extradition. And I don't know what, we are not sure yet what Interpol asked exactly from the Philippine authorities. Although there are cases na this is treated talaga as extradition. Kaya yun, mas malinaw yun. Na meron munang proseso dito sa local authorities and local courts natin.
Oo.
But this one, this is ICC. So, really, I cannot really state any categorical position
Yes, ma'am. I
on
understand
that
po.
matter. Kasi ang tinitingnan ko lang, yung special jurisdiction ng ICC.
Yes, ma'am.
Kung yung yung tinatawag natin sa Senate as an impeachment court, is sui generis. Ito yung ICC, ganun din eh.
Yes, ma'am, I
This is the
understand
very
po.
first time that we are facing this.
Ma'am, if I may
Yes.
interject po kasi I'm reading now the Interpol website about the red notices. And the Interpol
Okay.
website says, a red notice is a request to law enforcement worldwide to locate and provisionally arrest a person pending extradition, surrender, or
Yes.
similar legal action.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I don't know po. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but it sounds like extradition to me.
Well, if that is what is stated in the Interpol, then pwede rin ganon. Because that is the usual process that they do in case may mga requests for assistance or but I'm not very sure now about really what is the real procedure pag sa ICC. Ang alam ko, yung custodial state tayo eh. Tayo
correct.
yung may custody ngayon. So, mag-aano muna yan eh. Yung ang ano nga dyan is make a return to a local court. But it doesn't mean maghihintay pa ng another warrant.
Yeah.
Again, Senator Laila, Idol Laila,
Yes.
no? Bilang mga Pilipino, we can continue to split hairs over the legalities of this arrest. Pero ang sinasabi ko lang, this is out of the box. By 5 p.m., ililipad na siya, papunta ng Den Haag. Balita ko lang, no? So magiging moot and academic, na yung ating pinag-uusapan,
Yes.
no? Dahil
Yes,
yung
that's the
logical kasi
situation,
na
yes.
ginawa ni Digong yesterday ay manatili muna sa Hong Kong habang hinahanda ng kanyang mga supporters yung political climate para sa kanyang pagbabalik.
Correct.
Pero hindi niya ginawa
Correct.
yon, bumalik siya ng hindi handa at in-underestimate niya yung kanyang mga kalaban. Akala niya dadalhin siya sa krame na sinabi kanina, yung pala diversionary lang yun, pero
So, hindi dumaan ng
diniretso siya sa Villamor at mula sa Villamor ay ililipad na siya. John, pwede tayo magpustahan.
Okay.
Is that confirmed? Kasi kahapon sabi
Wala
mo...
namang confirm, hindi naman ako sa gobyerno eh. Ako yung,
No, because kahapon sabi mo hindi siya babalik. But he came back.
yun
He
ang
came back.
Dahil yun ang logical.
Oo.
Kaya tingnan mo ngayon yung kanyang kalagayan. Diba? Yun ang logical
clearly,
eh. Oo. Yun ang logical. Hintayin muna niya yung legal remedies na ihanda ng kanyang mga abogado bago siya bumalik at ihanda ng mga supporters
Correct.
yung political climate para siya ay maging isang hero na bababa sa tarmac. Eh hindi na ihanda.
Yun na nga. Kaya nga, yun ang naging ano nila, taktika. Kaya lang mukhang
Excuse me.
masasabi natin na mas preparado at yung gobyerno. Kasi may ganun na silang action plan kung ganyan talaga mangyayari.
But Senator, I am seeing some posts and comments from Duterte allies na sinasabi na this is making him a hero. This is gonna backfire. I get what Ronald is saying here, pero ano po sa tingin nyo yung sa defense nila? They're saying that this is an illegal arrest kasi walang warrant and also because the ICC does not have jurisdiction. Pwede pa po yan i-challenge sa korte, right?
Well, they can always take any remedy na maisip nila. But ang ano nga is that ICC ito. May warrant of arrest. At then na-serve na. And then pwede talagang yung pag-surrender, ano yun eh, that's also part of the process sa ICC. And then yung tungkol sa walang jurisdiction, malinaw naman yon sa Article 127 ng Rome Statute. Na kahit nag-withdraw na tayo, ay hindi pa rin tayo libre, yung gobyerno, hindi yung Estado, hindi siya absolved or excused from cooperating. And dun sa matter na yan, and that should include concerning also the arrest, the enforcement of the arrest and the surrender.
Actually, kagabi pa lang, marami nang tumatawag sa kanya na wag munang bumalik dahil hindi pa nga sila handa.
Yun pala.
Una, siyempre, hubris, tingin mo, invincible ka, walang untouchable ka. Ikalawa, yung kulambo.
Ano yung kulambo?
Dalawang gabi na kasi siya hindi makatulog dahil wala yung kulambo. No? Ang hirap nun
I don't
para
know.
sa edad niya.
Hindi naman kailangan ng kulambo doon.
Hindi, kaya
In Hong Kong.
naghahanap siya ng kulambo. No? Yun, hindi mo alam kung gaano ka kanya, ka-importante.
I don't know if we should be laughing at this point.
Pag ikaw ay 80 anyos, hahanapin mo yung iyong yung security blanket. No?
Ano security blanket niya, kulambo?
Kulambo. Ako, security blanket ko, yung staff slot.
Oh.
Na kahit lumang-luma na, hindi ko papalitan ng bago dahil gusto ko yung amoy ko ron eh. No? Ganun din sa kulambo.
Senator, what does it feel like for you to see all of this play out? You know, how many years ago yun? 7, 8 years ago when we were covering your breaking news of your arrest, right? Tapos ngayon, you're on the other side. What does it feel like for you?
It's just part of I actually see it as part of my vindication. Kasi alam nyo naman kung ano yung pinaglaban ko at kaya nga ako kinulong ng halos 7 taon. Dahil pinaglaban ko yan. Yung pagpatay nila is under the bloody war on drugs. So, ito ay something na hinihintay na ho ng karamihan sa atin, hinihintay na ito lalo na ng mga biktima, lalo na ng mga pamilya, ng mga EJK victims. So this is a very, it's a very significant and remarkable day, and I just feel so vindicated. Na finally, gumugulong na yung hustisya. At yun naman talaga, ang pag-asa naman talaga ng mga biktima o yung mga EJK families ay yung ICC. Gumalaw yung ICC, ginawa yung trabaho, ginawa yung mandato, eto na yon. So, yung ang talagang susunod ay yung pag-surrender sa kanya sa ICC sa The Hague para umandar na rin yung proseso doon sa ICC, sa trial chamber.
Ma'am, I was reading kanina the arrest warrant against the former president. Among the things cited in the arrest warrant, they found reasonable evidence to believe that Duterte was a founder and the head of the Davao Death Squad, which you also investigated before in Davao City when you were Commission on Human Rights Chair. And that he appointed DDS co-perpetrators is the word used by the ICC. DDS co-perpetrators to national positions when he became the president. So yun po among other things ang basis nila. As well, he offered financial incentives, promotions to policemen to kill suspects, promised them immunity, shield from investigation, made public statements authorizing and condoning and promoting the killings. So ito po yung mga basehan.
Ed, wag na natin kalimutan, kaninang 1:30 at ngayong alas 3, may misa sa Payatas at saka sa isa pang simbahan with the victims, with the families of the EJK victims. Huwag natin kalimutan, hindi lang ito dynamics between the Marcoses and the Dutertes. Ito ay primarily ay dynamic between the victims ng EJK, ng Tokhang at si Digong. Kaya yun ang gusto nila maging prominent, huwag silang kalimutan. No? Kaya kanina nga 1:30, ngayon ongoing alas 3, may misa with the families of the EJK victims. Hindi lang sa Payatas. At bukas,
ongoing
meron silang ongoing yung second mass. Meron silang tomorrow na planong press conference at saka mobilization. Ang ihaharap dyan are basically the families.
Okay. Madam Senator, we're bringing in Ami Pamintuan, the Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star. Ami, from Parañaque.
Hi,
Ami.
Senator. Hi, Senator. Senator,
Hello.
meron na daw na-file
Good
na
afternoon,
petition for
Ami.
certiorari sa Supreme Court. Ano pwedeng maging role dyan ng Supreme Court kung sakasakali?
Magkita-kita mo sila.
Well, depende kung ano ang allegations nila. Ano ba ang iaano nila dyan? I-question nila dyan. Sasabihin nila, grave abuse of discretion yung ICC. In the first place, yung Supreme Court, walang jurisdiction yan over the ICC. So it really depends on what the allegations are in that petition for certiorari. Maybe
Pero can they stop our
certiorari.
government from handing over Duterte to the Interpol?
Again, pardon, I can't, medyo choppy, Ami, choppy.
Can they stop our government from handing over Duterte to the Interpol? Kasi si Senator Bato de la Rosa, sabi niya, yun din ang sabi niya, pag siya na-issuean ng arrest warrant, pupunta din siya sa Supreme Court para itigil.
Well, they can always file whatever course of action ang pwede nilang maisip, based on the lawyer's advice. But yung mga whether anong magiging action talaga ng Supreme Court, it's anybody's guess actually, kasi it's the first time that we are being confronted with this breakthrough development. So iba rin, syempre, ang Supreme Court, magiging maingat din yan. Because we're not talking here about ordinary cases. We're not talking here about local courts. We are talking here about an international independent court. So, magiging maingat para sa akin ay magiging maingat ang Supreme Court pagdating sa action nila on petitions like that.
Ma'am, in layman's terms, anong certiorari? Ano yung sabihin nun? It's a petition questioning the authority?
Yes. Ang scope ng certiorari is grave abuse of discretion, or lack or excess of jurisdiction of a tribunal body na exercising quasi-judicial function.
Okay. Okay, so
Now,
that's why.
that normally applies sa mga local institutions of justice,
Yes.
local court. So, not ICC.
Hindi
So,
nga yung
we have
ICC
yet to see
titigil,
exactly
Senator.
yung
Yung mga
allegation.
natin, our law enforcement
Yung mga-
agencies
the law enforcement
from arresting
agencies
and
and-
handing over.
From arresting.
Pero
Pwede,
Army,
yun,
again,
I think
no,
that is
ang
the,
window is just
1
1
hour.
and a half hours. No? Kung hindi nila magagawa yan in 1 and a half hours, o halimbawa, matraffic yung magdadala, kung sakaling may makuha sila at matraffic papuntang Villamor, palipad na yung aeroplano.
Ano yan, chartered or commercial flight?
Ha? Basta
Senator, may
Using
iba
the
kasi
busway.
challenge yung
Using
arrest
the
warrant,
busway na
di ba?
Basta palipad
Ang
sa
ini-invoke
busway.
ngayon, is a diffusion mechanism.
Yes.
Baka pwede niyong i-explain yun, no? Yung diffusion
Palipad na ng
mechanism
5 p.m.
na ginamit ng ICC through the Interpol.
Yeah, what does that mean, ma'am?
again, what is that? You're coming in
It's a
so
fusion
big and
mechanism.
Diffusion.
Pina-explain ko, pero baka mas medyo mahaba-haba to explanation sa akin eh. Pero baka ma-explain nyo ng mas madali. Maya-maya sasabihin ko, nandito sa akin explanation. Pero baka meron kayo simpler explanation.
Well, actually, that's the first time I've ever heard of that. But if we relate it to the developments now, yung mga nangyayari ngayon, ay siguro talagang maski yung, of course, the confidentiality, di ba? Haka-haka lang o reported, issuance lang yung warrant of arrest, but there was no official announcement yet from the ICC as of March 7th,
Yes.
the date of the warrant of arrest. At ganun din, naging confidential din, at hindi talaga pinaalam, hindi pinapublish, hindi in-announce yung pag-refer sa Interpol.
Actually, yun nga yung
I think that's how-
definition dito sa akin ng diffusion. A diffusion
correct.
request from the ICC is an informal alert sent through Interpol
Yes.
to request the location or the arrest of a suspect na wanted daw ng ICC. It functions daw similarly to an Interpol red notice, but it is typically used when there is an emergency or while awaiting a
Yes.
formal red notice. The ICC daw may issue a diffusion request to facilitate international cooperation in apprehending persons accused of serious crimes. Halimbawa, war crimes
Yes.
nga or crimes against humanity, but unlike a red
Correct.
notice, a diffusion is sent directly to specific countries rather than being publicly available. So hindi pala yun
Ayun.
nabalitaan yung ganon nung nasa department, talagang bagong-bago siya, no? Yung mechanism
Bago-bago
na to.
siya. Kaya nga, diffusion eh. Para, because, they anticipate really serious things. They anticipate mga sensitive developments o kaya yung mga yung the defiance and all that o pwede rin mga mass actions. Kasi nga we're dealing here with a former head of state. So, yan ang pagkakaintindi talaga natin ng diffusion mechanism. Although, as I said, ngayon ko lang yan narinig, pero yan ang naiisip natin, yan ang naiisip ko na ibig sabihin talaga ng diffusion, precisely to diffuse a very volatile situation.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll let you go,
Salamat
Senator.
po.
We know that you have something to attend to as well. Thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, ma'am.
Former Senator Laila De
Thank
Lima.
you,
Salamat din po.
Senator.
Salamat din. Thank you. Thank you.
There's a lot of moving parts talaga. And,
Ito, flying parts na iniisip eh.
uy, pwedeng gamitin ni Ed sa busway. Emergency, di ba?
Pwede, oo.
Pwede?
Pwede.
Naku, baka
Hindi
mahuli
pwede, may
ng...
nagbanggaan doon ngayon eh.
Ayan, yan,
really?
pwede.
Baka
na
mahuli ng
pwede.
Special
May
Intelligence
nagbanggaan na,
Action
dalawang
Task
bullets.
Force ng
Alam
EDSA.
mo,
Pero the important, there's something to be said about the government needing to do this by the book then. Kasi okay, fine, unprecedented. There's a lot of things that are out of the box, as Ronald said. Pero they also have to be careful and make sure that they're covered, right?
pero pag dala na nga sa Den Haag,
Wala na.
Academic na, kahit ano yung ihabol
Wala na
nila
rin. It's
kaso.
out of their hands.
Walang bail doon. At saka sasabihin nila, ay, magsampa na lang kayo ng kaso ron.
So what you're saying is that to diffuse the situation.
Ano isasampa nyo? Mag-i-impeachment kayo ngayon, no? So anong gagawin? Hindi ko maisip kung anong sasampa nila pag nailipad na.
What you're saying is that to diffuse the situation, don't let him stay here longer.
Una, yung mga possible legal remedies nila para patagalin pa yung kaso. Yun yung isa. Pag nailipad na, baliwala na yon. Ikalawa, yung mga planong people power, uprising, etc. na I'm sure may nagpaplano.
Meron na, nagtatawag na yung kaibigan mo, Ronald. Nagtatawag na yung favorite human rights lawyer.
Yun.
People
It's a
power.
Magiging model academic na yon dahil mahirap naman maging rallying point sa ex-human rights lawyer. No? Mahirap naman mag-rally sa Den Haag, medyo malayo. No? Tsaka, kwando eh. Oo, baka yung pumunta pa sa nudist camp. Dahil maraming nudist camp doon eh. sa Netherlands. No? So, medyo...
Yan po yun, si Ronald po yun, si Ronald J.
medyo mahihirapan na, no? So, tingin ko, merong political calculation in all of this. No? Kaya nga, outside of the box. We can quibble
sa... bago pang development. Sino ba tao niyo sa naiya? Kadadating lang daw ni BP Sara Duterte.
Ayan. Hindi naman siya kasama sa warrant eh.
Hindi siya kasama. Hinihintay lang namin yung statement.
Kadadating lang from
si
Hong Kong.
Senator Bato, naghihintay pa rin kami ng statement. Kasi, di ba sabi sa atin, tatlo lang naman yung sure at this point na ma-i-issuean ng arrest, di ba? Si President Duterte, si Senator Bato, saka si former PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde, who is running for a position in Pampanga.
Which we just checked in with the Senator Bato's office. Sabi niya wala pang statement as of now.
And that's curious.
And there is such a wave.
Such a defender.
There is such a thing as a second wave, a third wave, no? Pwede pa silang bukas makalawa baka may makita kang ano ba yan? Chamber 2. Ito kasing warrant na ito nilabas ng Chamber 1 ng ICC, no?
May Chamber 2 pa.
Oo, may maraming chambers, no? Sa kwan. So, medyo ninervyos na si Senator Bato.
But again, we spoke to him last week. We already know what his defense is gonna be. Tatakbo siya sa Supreme Court. He's gonna ask for a TRO.
Yun,
sabi niya.
baka posible pa yon, no? Dahil nga hindi pa siya hawak at hindi pa siya inililipad, no?
For as long as he's here.
Oo. Pero
siguro pinag-aaralan din nila itong Ronald, hindi mo kinento sa amin itong diffusion mechanism na to. Pang-emergency pala to. Member countries may also request cooperation from each other through diffusion, which are circulated directly by a member country's National Central Bureau to all or some other member countries. Meron din pala yung color-coded system, red, yellow, blue, black, green, purple, and orange.
Ang problema,
and they must comply with Interpol's constitution and the rules on the processing of data. Kapag wanted ka sa red diffusion, those circulated to arrest, detain, or restrict the movement of an accused person. Okay, we are checked for compliance by the notices and diffusion's task force. A diffusion will not be entered, kaya hindi natin makita, will not be entered into the Interpol's database if it is of political, military, religious, or racial character.
Yes. Mahalaga yun, ha?
Nasa Article 3 ng Interpol Constitution, since we are committed, according to Secretary Remulla, to abide by our Interpol commitment, susunod tayo dyan.
Mahalaga yun, ha? Yung confidential element nitong lahat ng nangyari. No? Dahil sinubmit ng ICC yan sa Interpol.
Hindi mo pa kwento sa amin.
Sinubmit, hindi ko kasi alam ibig sabihin ng diffusion eh. No? Alam ko lang diffusion sa makina eh. Pero ang sigurado ko, nag-submit yung ICC sa Interpol last week pa. At sabi nga ng Malacanang, we heard. Diba?
Diffusion.
Diba? Sabi ng Malacanang, we heard. No?
We have to bring in a reporter
Pero
now.
kami naka-standby kami dito sa Diaryo simula pa Sunday night kasi nga yung reporter namin sa Davao, sabi, katakot-takot na daw yung pulis doon na nakabang doon sa Davao International Airport.
I mean, speaking of, let's bring in our reporter from Davao, where some reporters are holding a candle lighting ceremony right now. We have Bril Montalvo on the line, I believe. Bril,
Ganda siguro ni Bill na may hawak na kandila.
Brill!
Yes, Regina and Ronald Ami, nandito nga tayo ngayon
Hi.
sa Rizal Park, sa San Pedro Square, dito nga sa Davao City, saan at tipon-tipon ang mga Davaoenyo at mga taga-suporta ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte para kundinahin ang pag-aresto sa kanya kaninang umaga. At sa ngayon ay nagpapatuloy itong candle lighting activity dito sa Rizal Park para nga sa pagsuporta hindi lang kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte kundi sa pamilya Duterte sa paggigipit umano ng gobyerno ng administrasyong Marcos sa pamilyang Duterte. At ngayon, unti-unti nang dumadagsa itong ang mga Davaoenyo dito sa San Pedro Square, dito sa Rizal Park para mag-sindi ng kandila bilang suporta sa mga Duterte. At nandito din ang mga empleyado ng Davao City Hall, maging ang mga city councilors at si Vice Mayor Melchor Kitain. At bantay sarado din ng otoridad itong paligid ng Rizal Park at nandito yung mga kasundaluhan, mga pulisya at maging ang police auxiliary ay nandito rin nagbabantay sa paligid. Panawagan ng ibang mga taga-suporta ng mga Duterte ay BBM resign. Ayan, at may dala din silang mga placards na may katagang We Stand for FPRRD. So ngayon, Regina and Ronald Ami, nagpapatuloy pa rin ang maikling programa dito at nandito din ang ilan sa mga barangay captains at barangay kagawad ng lungsod para makilahok sa isinagawang candle lighting activity dito nga sa gilid ng Davao City Hall. So inaasahan naman na lalahok dito ngayong hapon or mamayang gabi ito ang si Davao City Mayor Sebastian Duterte at maging si Davao City 1st District Congressman Paulo Pulong Duterte. Yan muna ang huling ganap dito sa Davao City. Balik sa inyo.
Brill, sorry, I might have missed it. Mga ilang tao yung estimate mo na nandyan?
Sa ngayon nga, tinanong natin yung pulisya at hindi pa nila ma-estimate kung ilan yung tao na lalahok dito. Kasi nga, unti-unti nang dumadagsa itong mga Davaoenyo at halos mapuno na itong vicinity ng Rizal Park. Dito
Pero yung nakikita natin ngayon, Brill, kakaunting tao lang.
Kuha natin yan kanina sa pag-send natin ng materials dyan. Pero sa ngayon, live view natin ngayon ay halos mapuno na. Ito nga San Pedro Square, dito nga sa Rizal Park. At unti-unti nga dumadagsa ang mga tao. Patuloy na dumadagsa hanggang sa ngayon. At inaasahan na mas dadami pa mamayang hapon pag mag-out na galing sa trabaho ang ilang mga Davaoenyo at dito mano sila didiretso sa Rizal Park.
Pero gaano ka-init o gaano kalamig yung temperatura dyan sa Davao? I'm not referring to the weather. I'm referring to yung mood ng mga tao. Kasi, I'm sorry, what we're going by right now, Brill, yung mga video na pinala mo kanina, I understand, kanina pa nga yun, pero yung mga video kasi kanina, medyo kalmado at just nakatayo lang sila eh. I'm wondering kung kamusta ngayon?
Meron bang sumisigaw ng ibagsak? Si Ed Linggao? Oo, dyan.
Ngayon nga, ang sitwasyon dito ngayon is kung makikita nyo sa mukha ng mga tao at ang kanilang mga sinasabi ay galit na galit sila kaya Pangulong Bongbong Marcos at sa administrasyon nito sa pagigipit ng sa kanila, pagigipit nila sa mga Duterte. At may nagsabi nga kanina na nanawagan sila sa ibang Davaoenyo na palitan na daw nila si BBM. At ngayon dito is grabe yung yung galit ng mga Davaoenyo. Although nagbigay sila ng panalangin para sa pagsuporta kay former President Duterte at maging sa kanyang health condition ngayon na naway magiging okay ang health condition ni former President Rodrigo Duterte.
Bril, hindi naman
Bril, may
200...
nababalitaan ka bang nagbabalak ng counter-rally? Kasi nandyan din naman yung mga Nograles at marami mga victim ng EJK sa Davao, ha? May nababalitaan ka bang gano'n na may nagbabalak man lang?
Alam mo, sa kampo sa mga Nograles, wala pa tayong nababalitaan kung ano ang kanilang hakbang. Kasi nga, alam naman natin dito sa Davao City na katunggali na ni dating CLC chairperson Carlo Nograles, ito nga si former President Rodrigo Duterte bilang alkalde dito sa Davao City. At paano, wala tayong mga naririnig o nakikita ng mga counter-rally against kay former President Rodrigo Duterte.
Bril, go ahead, Ami. Go ahead.
Ay, tatanungin ko lang kung ano na nangyari doon sa mga nakaabang sa Davao. Ang daming pulis dyan over the weekend sa Davao International Airport. Ano nang ginagawa nila na ba sila? Nagka-crowd control ba sila ngayon?
Yes, tama ka nga dyan, Ami, no? Last Sunday nga, nang biglang dumating ito nga bulto ng mga pulisya at nakastandby nga dyan sa Davao International Airport. At paniwanag naman dyan ng Police Regional Office 11 ay nagsasagawa lang umano sila ng simultaneous exercise in preparation sa national and sa local election. So ngayon is kalmado na at kontrolado na at payapa na ang Davao International Airport at wala nang mga pulis doon na bulto na nandoon. At normal na ang sitwasyon doon sa Davao International Airport.
Okay. Bril, do you know where Vice President Sara Duterte is right now? Ngayon lang, Ami said they got news that she has just arrived into NAIA and I know you have contacts within her camp. Alam mo ba kung nasaan na sila ngayon and what they're planning to do?
Ayon nga sa ating source, doon nga mismo sa kampo ni Vice President Sara Duterte, alas 3 ng hapon na siya lalapag dito sa Ninoy Aquino International Airport kasama ang kanyang mga anak galing Hong Kong. So hindi sinabi kung anong terminal, pero paglapag niya sa NAIA, diyan sa may Metro Manila, diyan mo lang sa mamamalagi. At according sa ating source, ay ngayong biyernes siya babalik dito sa Davao City para mag-celebrate sa 86 araw ng Davao. So, just a series of activities dito sa araw ng Davao itong si Vice President Sara Duterte ngayong weekend.
So, Friday pa
Ito
siya
na, Philippine
scheduled.
Airlines Flight PR319 from Hong Kong. Dumating.
Nag-arrive na. So
Nag-arrive na siya.
Friday pa siya scheduled bumalik sa Davao, pero that's before all of this happened. So, we don't know.
Naglanding ng 3:15 p.m. Terminal 1. She immediately went to the dignitaries' lounge. From there, they went down the ramp where their vehicles were waiting. Yan.
Then
Baka samahan niya si Papa niya mamaya.
Baka pupuntahan na.
Hindi,
Baka pupuntahan.
samahan.
Vice President siya, hindi nila mapipigilan yan.
Kaso pag sumama siya papuntang Den Haag, baka hindi siya makabalik.
Ayun. Lower tier pa. Malayo-layo pa naman siya doon sa listahan, di ba? Yun ang pagkaalam ko, malayo-layo pa siya. Hindi pa naba-finalize yung sa kaso niya.
she was not even named as one of the 5 principals, di ba?
Hindi siya principal pero meron siyang kasi nung mayor siya, di ba? When she was alternating as mayor of Davao City, covered yung period na yon Pero hindi pa yata tapos siya. Ay, tanongin mo si Ronald, tapos na ba yung sa kanya? Yung pag-iimbestiga sa kanya?
Meron pa yung second tsaka third wave ng mga i-issuehan ng warrant.
Oo, medyo malayo-layo pa siya, down the line pa yon.
Pero pag sumama kasi siya papuntang Den Haag, para makatipid, baka bigyan siya ng kwarto ron.
Oo.
Okay.
Yung Dutch kasi
we let Bril go.
yung Dutch matipid yan
Bril,
matipid yung mga Dutch, di ba?
Dutch Street.
Dutch Street.
Dutch Street.
Para matipid.
We'll let you go for now. Balitaan mo kami once you hear more from former President Duterte's camp at saka yung kampo ni Vice President
Hindi naman
Sara
siguro,
Duterte.
Bril, 250,000 yung nandyan, no? Katulad nung January 13 na estimate. Dahil hindi kasya dyan ang 20,000, nagulat ako, 250,000. Lagi kami nag-arali dyan dati. 2,000, malaki na eh. 20,000, apaw na eh. Pero yung nireport dati, 250,000, ngayon nagulat ako eh.
Sa parks?
Oo, sa
Rizal
park. Oo.
Okay. That
Pero
was...
dadami pa siguro yan. Baka dadami pa yun hanggang mamayang gabi.
Yeah. Sabi
Especially
nga-
kung totoo nga yung balita na ililipad yata diretso, no?
Yeah. Sabi nga ni Bril, once, lumabas na from the offices yung mga tao, baka they're expected to grow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, News 5 correspondent Bril Montalvo.
Thank you, Brill.
Thank you, Bill.
You are watching Storycon on
Yeah.
One News. We just need to take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
We've got developing news and the stories behind headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Madeline Gao.
And I'm Regina Lay. Still with us, Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star and Ronald Llamas, our resident political pundit. Before we get to the guests, kakapasok lang official statement from Vice President Sara Duterte. As we pointed out earlier, she arrived at NAIA 3:21 p.m. today via Philippine Airlines Flight 319. The Vice President is accompanied by her children and will address any relevant matters at the appropriate time. We ask for your understanding as she attends to these matters. Yun lang yung statement.
Pero
niya
malapit
at
lang
this
yung
point.
airport sa Villamor.
Yes.
Kaya pwede
Actually,
siyang maglakad
Villamor,
papunta ron. no?
kakabit ng airport.
Yeah, pwede siyang maglakad
Oh,
papunta ron.
it's just one set of runways eh.
Hindi, sumakay siya ng sasakyan. Kayo naman, may convoy siya.
Ito naman, nagjo-joke lang kami. Si tita naman.
Pero may isa pang statement, not statement, but we also heard from his other daughter, si Veronica Kitty Duterte, who posted again, showing a medical certificate. Hindi ko medyo...
From Rosa Alin C.
Internal medicine specialist.
Internal
Medyo
Medicine
mahirap basahin.
Technology.
Oh, hindi, diabetes, shoot up.
This is to certify that Mr. Rodrigo Duterte consulted me to follow up care for diabetes management. His glucose level shot up to, not sure if this is 328.
Parang
eh.
328 eh.
Oh,
Despite-
Isang turok lang ng insulin yan.
insulin
Despite
regime.
insulin regimen.
Diba, Ami? Isang turok.
Blood sugar lang yan eh.
Oh, diabetes din ako eh. So, isang
And
turok lang yan.
Parang may last paragraph po.
Saka mas maganda yung mga
Hindi mo
facilities.
kailangan i-hospital dyan. Kahit nandito ka lang sa opisina, you can handle
Oh, yan,
that.
yan. Mas
But yung last paragraph,
Last paragraph is says he is
advice ba yan?
advised admission
Admission.
to avoid acute diabetes
natawa si Ami eh.
complication of DKA. DKA is diabetic
ketoacidosis,
ketoacidosis, which is a life-threatening condition, by the way.
Pag hindi ka naturokan ng
Men,
insulin.
kung
Oo,
life-threatening yan, di ka mamamasal sa Hong Kong, ano? Saka medyo mahina yung script eh. Kasi kanina nung kinuha siya sa aeroplano,
Okay ang kanyang
sinundan siya ng
vitals.
sinundan siya ng wheelchair eh. Hindi siya umupo eh. He walked by himself.
Actually, nung nasa aeroplano siya, ay kinwestiyon niya yung sinerve sa kanyang warrant.
Yes, galit na galit siya.
Yes,
Kaya
Sabi
nga
niya,
akala ko hindi siya bababa ng aeroplano.
galit na
Dahil
galit.
madrama yun kung bubuhatin siya palabas
Yes.
ng aeroplano.
Oo.
Pero hindi niya ginawa yun. No? Kaya,
Oo nga.
pero nung una, akala mo i-resist niya. Sabi niya, konsultahin yung mga abogado niyo. I'm a Filipino citizen.
So,
Sabi
ikinusot
niya.
kay doktor.
Oh, I'm a Filipino citizen.
You have to kill me first nga, di ba?
Yun.
Yes,
Oh, diba?
that's what he
Sabi
said.
niya.
Kaso-
Pero in any case, yung sabi ni Kitty Duterte is there's a doctor's certificate saying that her dad is advised admission to avoid diabetic ketoacidosis.
Kaya ko rin gumawa na.
Oh, nawalahan ako ni Ami.
And then yung caption,
Sasabihin ko sana, kaya ko rin yan.
and then the caption that she wrote
Si Ami
is,
talaga.
Nawalahan ako ni Ami. Sasabihin ko rin sana, kaya ko
Sa-
rin gumawa niyan. Si
sabi
John,
niya-
kaya rin gumawa niyan.
sabi niya, we are being illegally detained at the 250th Presidential Airlift Wing, Colonel Jesus Villamor Air Base, Pasay City. They aren't allowing my dad to seek the medical attention he badly needs. Yun yung latest post ni Kitty
Presidential airlift wing
Duterte.
pa.
Tingin ko hindi naman papayag yung gobyerno na siya ay mag-collapse. Dahil that can trigger a
Dapat
political
para
crisis.
matahimik ka, magpadala na lang ng doktor doon. Ang dami-dami natin magaling na doktor.
Okay.
Dapat magpadala na lang.
Ami, let's bring in our next guest for today. Let's bring in former Senator San Trillanes on this development. He joins us over the phone. Sir, magandang hapon.
Kaya tatahimik na ako. Nandiyan na si Senator eh.
Ay, Senator.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat.
Sir, nagkakadebate kami dito kung ano talaga nangyari at anong susunod na mangyayari. Kayo ba, alam niyo yung susunod na mangyayari? Kasi may balita na ililipad na ngayon din, within 1 hour. May balita rin na
5
hindi pa
days.
pwede dahil hindi angkop sa proseso. Ano po ang inyong narinig?
Hindi naman po tayo privy sa mga operational details, pero logically hindi po advantageous sa campus administration, dito sa ating lipunan na manatili dito si Duterte kasi magiging cause ng political instability at marami pang pwedeng magawa yan siya na mga legal remedies para ma-extend na itong predicament niya ngayon. Kaya ang pinakang magandang senaryo para po sa lahat ay mailipad siya diretso sa dahig para masimulan na yung kanyang paglilitis.
Pero sir, wouldn't that go against the presidential decree on extradition? Because the existing law requires that all extradition cases be approved first by an RTC and be subject to appeal.
Hindi po. Kung mababasa po natin yung Republic Act 9851, sa Section 17 po doon sa jurisdiction, nakalagay po doon, the government may extradite an accused na iniimbestigahan ng isang international tribunal. So prerogative po ng executive. Wala akong sinasabing the courts o lang ganon. Ang pinakang magpipigil lang ho dapat sa mga ganyan situation kung meron pong ibang kaso na nililitis ngayon sa korte, itong si Duterte. Ngayon, mag-overlap yung jurisdiction, magkakaroon ng precedence yung local courts dan sa mga korte sa labas. Ganun po yan. And they can argue to the death kung paanong nila dyan, napilipit nila dyan. Pero ito po, nakita po natin yung paano kinandak ng mga kapulisan natin, yung pag-aresto, nirespeto yung karapatan niya, binigyan siya ng due process, which is ironic dahil siya ang nag-deprive sa mga libu-libong biktima ng EJK nung kanilang mga rights nung pinagpapatay sila.
Senator, sariwang balita lang, kakalabas lang ng China ng statement na wag daw nating warning yung ICC na wag i-politicize itong kaso ni Digong at wag magkaroon ng double standards. Ano bang masasabi niyo rito? Kayo ba ay nasurpresa?
Dito nga, alam nyo, mas nagiging negatibo yan kasi it betrays the true loyalties and alliances ng mga Duterte. Talagang right from the get-go, hanggang dikit sila. At yun, yan yung nangaharas sa ating mga Coast Guard at sa ating mga mangingisda dyan sa West Philippine Sea. Pero yun ang mga kakampi niya. At nakita nyo, no? At the first rumor na may warrant, takbo sa kagad sa China. Kaya yun yung niya. Kaso nagkaroon siya ng miscalculation. Nung akala niya fake news yung rumor, nahuli siya ngayon sa bita.
Senator, may balita ba kayo kung kailan lalabas yung iba pang mga warrant? Para sa marami naman tayo nabanggit ng personality, yung first four lang, apart from former President Duterte. Halimbawa kay Senator Bato de la Rosa, kay Oscar Albayalde. May balita ba kayo kung kailan kaya yon? Kasi puro mukhang secret tong yung under the new scheme na ginagamit nila. Sinisikreto, hindi ginagawang confidential yung mga pag-arrest, yung mga pag-issue ng order.
Okay, ito po, tatapatin ko po kayo. Wala na po tayong nakikitang iba pang warrant na lalabas except for Bato de la Rosa, pero mga pa yan, several months down the road pa yon.
Oh.
Yung iba pong mga akusado, dilitisin na lang dito sa atin using yung RA 9851, yung the law that defined yung offense against humanity, genocide, and others.
Why is it going to take that much longer, Senator? Kasi last year when we spoke to you, sabi mo dapat ito yung 5 personalities. Yung iba pala is former CIDG Chief Romeo Karamat Jr. and former PNP Chief Edilberto Leonardo, and also Eleazar Mata. Ito yung 5 names na binigay mo na last year, na sabi mo dapat yung warrant should cover all 5 personalities. Ano pong nangyari at na-split, and bakit mas matagal pa yung iba?
Dagdag sa tanong ni Reg, Senator, may possibility ba na itong bahagi nitong 5 ay tetestigo laban sa principal na si Digong or si Bato?
So yun po, no, without compromising the identities. Kaya po, yung nawala na, combination po ito na yung iba mag-testigo na lang laban kay Duterte or lilitisin na lang po dito using RA 9851. Kaya yan po. At marami rin po tayong makakalap na ebidensya na galing din po sa ICC para malitis po yung mga mas mababa ang rango.
Senator, yung decision na yan ba, na-influensyahan ba yan ng findings ng Quadcom? Kasi yung tatlong iba pa, apart from Digong and Senator Bato, mga nabanggit lahat yan doon sa, during the investigation by the Quadcom on the drug war. Na-influensyahan ba yun?
Most likely po, most likely.
So gagamitin yung ebidensya ng Quadcom sa local prosecution kasi yun, naumpisa na rin yun Parang preliminary pa lang naman. Pero hindi pa nga pinapile yung kaso, so pwede pang sabihin na pwede pa magka-jurisdiction ng korte, ng ICC. Pero in the meantime, sabi nyo nga, dito na lang sa local.
Opo. Mas maganda na, kasi marami hong mga subordinate officers na equally guilty. Pero hindi yun ang focus ng ICC. Ang focus nila yung mga mastermind. So, si Bato del Rosa at si Digong. Ngayon, yung ibang mga sangkot din, yung mga hindi nag-testigo, sila po yung harap ng local cases. Pero ibigyan po tayo ng mga ebidensya ng ICC kasi ano po yan, mas way ahead sila sa evidence.
Senator, nabanggit na kasama siya si Vice President Sara Duterte sa mga tinitingnan na baka may role doon kasi naging mayor siya during the period covered ng ICC probe. So medyo malabo na dadalhin din siya sa ICC if we are going to go by your statement. Medyo down the line na yan yung pangalan niya So kung sakali man na masasabit siya dyan, sa local na lang siya.
Ganito po. Yung kay Sara Duterte, si Arturo Las Cañas lang po ang nagbigay ng yung sa kanya, while heavy yung kanyang mga nagtawan ni Las Cañas, pero kailangan by the standards ng ICC talagang corroborative evidence ang hinahanap. Pero itong si Sara Duterte ay marami mas maliwanag po yung kanyang plundered cases na kinakaharap ngayon. So doon na lang po siya.
Okay.
Senator, coming back to yung ibang warrants for instance para kay Senator Bato de la Rosa, when you say matatagalan pa, we're talking months, we're talking
Probably mga 1 taon pa yan.
Ha? Gano'n katagal, sir?
Wow.
Bakit, Senator? Ano yung... Go ahead.
Okay, kasi ganito, the way the ICC works, may mga specific investigating teams sila na focus sa mga cases. Ngayon, itong mga investigating team na nakafocus kay Digong, they will continue gathering evidence to make sure that they will get a conviction. So, pagka natapos yun, saka palang mabibitawan yung So, it's not
So, hindi po sabay-sabay?
Iniipit to. Hindi nila masabay-sabay kasi very limited rin yung kanilang resources dahil especially now, sinisira sila ng Estados Unidos.
But actually, that's a good point, no? Because Donald Trump has already imposed sanctions on the ICC. Sabi niya, anyone who comes after the U.S. American officials and its allies, for instance, the Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu
And Putin.
Allies, huh?
the U.S. will sanction them. Anong effect do you think this will have on the process for President Duterte? Because of course, the Philippines is an ally of the United States.
Na-clarify po yan, yung statement na yan, that they are only referring to the Israel-Gaza case. So, kaya hindi naman ho sila and ang sinabi doon sa kanilang order, they are encouraging the others to follow suit. So, pero yun na nga, case to case, and definitely not referring to this case dahil si Duterte ay baka-China.
So you don't think na this will have any impact on this case?
I'm quite sure kasi nagkaroon po ng mga dialogue with concerned agencies about that matter.
Senator, alam ko sinabi na ni Senator Bato hindi mangyayari. Pero if ever, baka naman magkaroon siya ng pagbabago ng isip, pwede ba siyang maging state witness against Rodrigo Duterte?
Masyado kasi siyang nasa taas eh. Ang tingin sa kanya, co-principal eh. Oo, kasi hindi magagawa ni Duterte yung kanyang extrajudicial killings by the thousands kung hindi siya sinunod ni Bato. At sa level ni Bato de la Rosa, talagang lahat nung nangyaring patayan na ginawa ng kapulisan talagang salong-salungin.
Speaking of Senator Bato, meron na tayong, we just got a document, mukhang nag-file na nga. Hindi ko po sure if this has been filed, but nevertheless, the document has been prepared. It's a 94-page document for certiorari and prohibition na nga, which we were just talking about, asking the Supreme Court for a petition. It's a petition for certiorari and prohibition with prayer for issuance of temporary restraining order and or writ of preliminary and prohibitory and mandatory injunction. This is coming from Senator Bato de la Rosa. Hindi pa klaro at this point if na-file na or if a-file pa lang. Pero it comes back to what he said
That's Bato's,
last week. Oo.
That's Bato's petition?
Oo. Certiorari and
mukhang
prohibition.
tama yan, mukhang yan ang gagawin niya.
Okay, pero ito yung...
I-invalidate niya yung
nakikita ko dyan,
i-invalidate niya yung desisyon ng gobyerno to cooperate with the Interpol. Yan yung certiorari. Invalidate,
Okay,
and in
pero
the
ito
meantime,
kasi
TRO na hindi ituloy.
Senator Trillanes, go ahead.
Apo. Yes, ma'am. Ito po, they can try ito mga legal remedies ito. Pero yun na ang dito, yung that's the idea, yung irony na sila, nakapwesto sila, meron silang poder, ginamit nila to kill their own citizens. Walang mga legal ganyan yung mga may hirap na pinagpapalala nila. Ngayon sila rin ng akabyado, kumagtako sila dun sa batas na disregard nila. Ganun. Yan po yung nakakagaling pa ho dito. They have power, may stature sila, may mga ganyang luxury sila which the poor Filipinos never had, yung mga pinagpapatay nila. Pinapasok po nila sa bahay. Imagine this. So, yung mga po natin, lalo na sa mga nasa depressed areas, sinisipa nila yung bahay. Tapos, nila kung sino yung target. Kung wala yung target, palit ulo, papatayin nila. Tapos, people will claim a reward money. Ganun po pinagagawa niya nila Bato po. And right now, siguro, baka masyado nang nakalimutan na siguro ng mga kababayan nating nangyari na yun. At baka maawa sila ngayon kay Duterte dahil may edad na at parang mabagal na gumalaw. Pero when they were in power back in 2016 to at least 2019, these people were monsters. Grabe yan. Talagang tinakot po nila yung mga taong bayan, pinagpapatay nila, na silence nila iba't ibang sectors of society, civil society, media, church, pati yung mga national politicians, different organs of government. Kinontrol nila. So these people are the monsters na ngayon ay nagmamakaawa.
Well, sir.
Di ba?
Yes, sir.
Monsters din ngayon, may parang ano.
Yes, sir.
Yun po.
Pero sir, yun nga, if you go with the rule of law, talaga naman shortcuts should not be condoned. And in the end, the stated end at least, will never justify the means. Pero sir, wouldn't government also be doing the same thing if it skirts the extradition law? I understand that they also want to diffuse the situation politically and render everything moot and academic by I suppose, spiriting him out of the country immediately. Pero still, there's an existing law on that. Kasi sir, I also looked up yung RA 9851, the one that you were citing kanina. That's in reference to criminal cases filed here in the Philippines with regard to crimes against humanity and genocide and all that. And I think that the reference there that you made dun sa extradition is in reference to charges filed here, not charges filed in, for example, the ICC.
No, nakalagay po doon sa second paragraph ng Section 17.
Yes, sir.
Nakalagay doon, kapag merong akusado na inimbestigahan na ng isang international tribunal, it's that
Yes, sir.
specific.
Yes, sir.
Ay, pwede natin i-surrender sa kanila.
Yes, sir.
And ito yan, sabi ko, that's a illegal opinion. Some lawyers will say it's illegal. Some others,
yes, sir. I understand, sir.
Will say covered. Ngayon, ganito po, no? Nag-ruling na yung Supreme Court na during the time na member pa tayo, may jurisdiction yung ICC over us. So, yun. Di ba? Anong nakalagay dun sa Rome Statute?
We have residual obligations.
Member, pwede natin silang turnover.
Yes, sir.
So, what changed? Wala naman mo nagbago. Kaya nga sabi ko yung mga legal opinion, you know how lawyers are. They can make
they can argue until hell freezes over.
But, pero dito, what is right. Papanagot siya sa mga ginawa niya. Tapos po, ang isa pang maganda rito sa nangyari. Bukod sa ito ang unang hakbang tungo sa hustisya ng mga namatayan, ito po ay magiging palatandaan na hindi siya pwedeng pamarisa na nung kung sino na ng mga na-inspire niya ng mga politiko na gagawin nila yung ginawa ni Digong. Ngayon, you try doing that at mananagot ka. Yun po, di ba? That's it.
Kaya ito rin ang itatanong ko kasi I think up to now they are unapologetic about what they have done. Hanggang ngayon yun ang sinasabi ni President Duterte, I did what I had to do for my country. At nakikita naman natin yung reaction ng mga loyalist nila. Gusto po rin sila. Sa tingin nyo talaga magkakaroon ng sea change because of what is happening dito. Meron tayong ganyang dito, kultura na gustong-gusto yung kill promise niya.
Pero ito po yan. Tama, meron po siyang cult following. Pero for sure, hindi po nadagdagan yan because of what happened. Mababawasan po yan in time. Pero ito po, no? Ang hindi nila sinasabi na kailangan trend para sa ang sinasabi, ginawa, maproteksyonan niya yung cartel niya, si Michael Yang. Di ba? Yun yung cover niya sa lahat. Kaya wala nakapag-imbestiga dahil naproteksyonan niya yung drug lord na partner niya. So, this is a scam. Yun, and in time, it will trickle down sa consciousness ng taong bayan. Tapos pag nadala na po siya sa dahig, hindi tayo makakalimutan na po yan. So ngayon, pagka na-expunge na sa political system ang Duterte brand of politics, kahit pa paano, we'll on the road to normalcy again, which is a good step until umunlad na tayo as a democracy.
Anong pakiramdam nyo, Senator, pag si Digong at yung kanyang mga kasama ay nag-i-invoke ng violation ng kanilang human rights?
Yun na nga, yun yung sabi ko, the ultimate tragedy kasi yung mga pinagpapatay nila diniprive nila ng very same rights that they're trying to avail of here. And it's being given to them. Alam niyo yung ICC, hindi naman yan hanggang korte. He will have all the opportunities to present his case and to convince the court, the ICC na tama yung ginawa niya. Yun. Ganun lang po yun.
So in a way, it's due process. He will be given a chance to defend himself.
Yes. Opo.
Okay, we'll leave that there for now. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
your
sir.
time today, former Senator Antonio Sani Trillanes.
Salamat, Senator.
Thank you, Senator.
Salamat po.
Long time no see.
Salamat.
You are watching Storycon on One News. We just need to take a very quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.
We've got developing news in the stories behind headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao.
I'm Regina Lay. Still with us, Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star and Ronald Llamas, our resident political pundit.
Let's bring in our next guest for this afternoon, Attorney Romel Bagares from the Center for International Law or Center Law. Sir, magandang hapon. Thank you for joining us.
Magandang hapon, attorney. Oo.
Magandang
Hi,
hapon.
Attorney.
Una paglinaw, hindi na po tayo sa Center for International Law. Matagal na po akong hindi PD ng Center Law. Ano?
Ay,
Ganun ba, sir?
Just where,
Attorney, may isa
Yes.
lang kaming pinag-uusapan
Sige.
dito. Baka pwede mo i-clarify. Dahil di ba
Sige,
isa sa founder nung inyong outfit ay si ex-human rights lawyer Harry Roque. Anong relasyon nyo ngayon sa kanya?
wala na po akong kinalaman o connection kay Attorney Roque. Matagal na po kaming hindi magkasama. Ako po sa kasalukuyan ay isang professor po ako ng international law sa 3 law schools sa Pilipinas, sa Manila.
Well, sir, let me get down to the brass tacks, sir. We're friends on Facebook, so I see your posts, and I noticed among your posts, you pointed out that Duterte will have to go through extradition as a process. And if you look at PD 1069, that means going to the regional trial court to approve a petition for extradition. However, there's also talk na baka idiretso siya sa The Hague tonight without going to that process. So can you enlighten us? Ano ba talaga, what really is the situation here? Is the president supposed to undergo that process, or can that be skipped?
Yes, because the framework really, we have the extradition law and the framework for all things pertaining to someone being sent away because he's being sought by another court. Is that you have to go through an extradition. Now, the question there is that under the extradition law, you need to have a legal basis, a treaty. And of course, we have already withdrawn from the Rome Statute.
Yes, sir.
So that's actually the legal conundrum here for the government. There's the option of actually sending him straight to The Hague, but there's no precedent. There's no precedent for that because we've always had that framework that still stays as we speak right now. But I think that what the government has done so far is an implicit recognition of the Supreme Court's obiter in Pimentel versus Cayetano.
Of
that
residual
there's
obligations.
A residual obligation, yes. And that means
Kaya nga,
that
yan ang tatanong
the
ko.
president has
Attorney,
recognized.
covered ba yung extradition law, covered ba yung ICC case? Medyo iba kasi yung kaso niya, di ba?
Well, yes, because actually the Rome Statute itself, Article 59, recognizes the national law as the framework for determining the propriety of a provisional arrest. So the Rome Statute itself requires a state to have such a procedure for extradition. That's Article 59 of the Rome Statute, specifically paragraph 2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, let's try to drill this down in layman's language, sir.
Meron bang violation na nangyari, attorney? No? Meron bang violation dito sa prosesong ito? At kung merong violation,
Wala
ano
pong
yung records nung mga na-violate?
No?
No?
Violation, kasi sa tingin ko po, kinilala po ng pamahalaan na meron nga tayong obligasyon, yung residual obligation.
Opo. Opo.
Kasi alam po ninyo,
At may obligasyon nga daw tayo, di ba, sa Interpol. Yan ang sinasabi ng
yung
DOJ.
Interpol.
Nagsalita din yung Prosecutor General ngayon, sabi niya, ngayon lang, sabi niya, due process daw was followed in serving the warrant. Yan ang sabi
meron
niya.
po kasing meron pong 2005 agreement yung ICC at Interpol tungkol po sa mga bagay na yan. Ngayon, nakalagay po doon sa agreement nila na saklaw lamang po nito yung mga bansa na miyembro po ng Rome Statute. Ibig sabihin po nito, kung hindi po natin tinuturing na meron po tayong residual obligation, wala pong business yung Interpol na
Opo.
humingi ng tulong na sa atin na para i-impose po yung red notice at magkaroon ng provisional warrant of arrest laban kay Pangulong Duterte.
Pero dahil may residual obligation, therefore obligado tayo.
Opo, ayun po yung sabi ng Korte Suprema sa kanilang obiter sa Pimentel vs. Cayetano.
Opo.
At yun din po yung tunguhin ng desisyon ng Appeals Chamber ng ICC noong nakaraang taon patungkol po sa apela ng Pilipinas.
So I guess yung bahagi yun medyo malino na. Pero sir, yung tanong na kung pwede nang ilipad ngayong hapon mismo, ngayong gabi mismo si Pangulong Duterte sa The Hague o hindi pa. Ano ho ba talaga ang ano doon? Ano ba talaga yung sinasabi ng batas?
Well, another view po ay ganito, no? Since the President is the chief foreign policy architect, right? He can make that decision and say, well, I think that we can do it and just send him directly to The Hague. But there will be, I'm sure that there will be a lot of questions about that.
Pero attorney, kung siya ay mailipad na sa The Hague, tapos may reklamo yung kanyang mga kasama, anong legal recourse nila? Nailapad na siya. So, magsasampa sila ng kaso, impeachment laban sa presidente, o magsasampa sila ng kaso sa Philippine National Police, etc. So, ano magiging recourse nila? Di ba magiging moot and academic na yan kung sakaling mailipad siya in 20 minutes sa Den Haag?
Well, that of course is now going to be subject to the Philippine political processes, ano? Question na naman yan, ano? Pero doon po sa The Hague actually, meron pong recourse si Pangulong Duterte dahil kung maalala po ninyo, yung kaso nga po nung apela ng Pilipinas doon po sa Appeals Chamber ng ICC, sinabi po doon na meron pa pagkataon si Pangulong Duterte na questionin po yung jurisdiction ng ICC pagdating po sa pre-trial chamber.
Pero di ba tapos na yun, attorney? Pero di ba nagbotohan na yung ICC tungkol dyan?
Ang sabi ko kasi doon, na yung boto po na yun, pertinent po yun sa preliminary investigation. Yung legality, ano po. Pero meron po doon, nagbigay po ng puwang na kaunti. Nagsabi na maaari pong dalhin yung usapin mismo ng jurisdiction doon sa proseso po ng issuance ng arrest warrant. Because that is going to be the first time that the President is actually allowed to appear on his own behalf before the ICC.
But the fact that they've already done a preliminary investigation and it has progressed to issuing a warrant, which means in their terms, in legal terms pala, they have reasonable grounds to believe that a person has committed a crime. You're saying is President Duterte can still question the jurisdiction at that point, but what are the chances that it will fly? Because yun nga, nag-progress na, we were just talking about this during the break, maraming stages na yan. There was a stage where the Philippines was given a warning to say that the ICC is monitoring alleged crimes here. Tapos nag-progress to preliminary investigation. Tapos ito na nga, nag-progress na to the issuance of a warrant. What are his chances here?
Well, you know, if you read the decision, actually, there was a fine line taken there by the majority because they actually recognized that the procedure there was only the office of the prosecutor. It was not yet the full-blown proceeding where the respondent, in this case Duterte, was able to participate. So it's a very technical question, you know, and it can go actually either way. There's still the majority, still a 3-2 majority, and there's no saying that the pre-trial chamber will not go the way that the appeals chamber actually took in the appeals process.
Nabalitaan namin, attorney, na si Attorney Torion, yung abogado ni Kibuloy, ay nag-file na sa Supreme Court ngayon. Nag-file na siya ng certiorari, no?
Wait, sorry. To clarify, we don't know if na-file na, but we got a copy of the petition for certiorari and prohibition.
Magiging relevant ba yan kung sakaling lilipad na siya in 25 minutes?
Tama po yun. Actually, kung maalala ko niyo, I was actually one of those who argued before the court against the unilateral withdrawal by the President of our obligations under the Rome Statute. That's Pimentel. And in that case, the court said, Obiter 15-0, that there is a duty to cooperate. And that's the basis for why the ICC has jurisdiction, according to the court, for things that happened when we were still a party. So that's going to be the full question of jurisdiction that was not directly touched to Pimentel. This time around, it's going to be
Yeah.
center before the Supreme Court.
Attorney, tinatanong ni Ronald, kung madala na si President Duterte doon ngayong gabi, pwede pa ba siya maiuwi uli dito?
Sa
Mahal ang
palagay ko
pamasahe.
po, kasi po, sa rules nga po ng ICC mismo, sinasabi doon na yung batas ng custodial state, this case, the Philippines, ang susundin patungkol po doon sa proseso ng extradition.
Pero kung
So
na,
that can be of course, that can be a point that that can be raised by the president's lawyers in the Hague when the proper time comes.
So,
Pero kung-
in other words, sir, kung sakali lang na makakuha ng TRO ang kapo ni Pangulong Duterte o ni Bato at nakaalis na si Pangulong Duterte dito, maaari siyang ipabalik.
Oh, pwede bang pabalikin
Well, I
niya?
wouldn't
Pwede ba
really-
siya pabalikin
I really
dito?
can't
Nandun na siya sa
speculate
ICC.
because
hawak na siya ng ICC eh.
Yes, that we also have precedent from international law of a case kung saan po meron po isang war criminal, the famous case of Eichmann.
Adolf
Si
Eichmann.
Eichmann po ay dinukot ng mga Israeli mula
Opo,
po sa
in
Argentina
Argentina.
para sa politics sa Israel, di ba?
Opo.
So dumating po yan sa kaso sa ICJ, sabi ng ICJ, pwedeng pakiwalayin yung issue ng irregularity ng pagdadala sa kanya sa korte at yung validity at legality ng pag-release sa kanya. Magkahiwalay daw po yun
Okay.
ayon sa ICJ.
Okay. So hindi masisira ang mismong kaso dahil lamang doon sa I suppose accessory issue
Pagdala.
ng pagdala sa kanya.
Sa irregularity. Meron po tayong precedent na ganun, ano? And that can be considered also as one of the arguments for the prosecution.
Kasama yata yung lolo ko doon
So,
nung umuli kay
Adolf Eichmann.
once na-extradite na siya, attorney, he has to stay there all the way through to the end of the trial, correct?
Well, doon po sa rules ng ICC, pwede nga siyang mag-file ng bail. Pwede po siyang mag-ask ng interim release. Depende po yan sa reasons that he can raise and also the appreciation with the court of the propriety of giving it interim release. That's also possible.
Pero attorney, you're referring to bail while here in the Philippines or you're referring to bail while there in
while
The Hague?
there.
In The Hague.
Pwede po ngayon, kung gusto niya, halimbawa nagkaroon po ng extradition proceeding, pwede po siya mag-file ng bail. Pwede din po
Parang
doon.
walang,
Wala naman po.
attorney, parang walang bail
wala
sa
naman po-
ICC. Parang walang bail
Pwede po
doon
siya
pag
mag-bail dito.
hawak ka
So,
na nila.
Meron
Oo,
po-
kasi ano
ang
yun,
tinuturo
flight
po kasi
risk ka
sa
yun pag
Article
nasa
59,
ICC ka eh.
Oo.
Abok, I think
Meron po-
he's referring to Rome Statute Article 59. It says there
Oh,
na
meron po-
in the process of extradition at nandun pa sa custodial country yung extraditee
Yep,
and the
opo.
process is ongoing, the extraditee has the right to file for bail.
Hindi, kaya nga sinasabi,
Yeah.
kung nandun na siya sa Den Haag,
Oo, or
Hindi
dito
na-
sa Pilipinas.
Doon
pag
ba
nandun
ay
na
pwede siyang mag-bail?
Pag nasa, actually, I didn't hear attorney's answer. Attorney, can you answer that again? Sorry. Pwede ba mag-bail, mag-file ng bail
Yes,
once
I'm
nasa
talking
Hague?
about
pag nasa Hague
Yes,
na,
I'm talking about the interim release pending bail, ano? So, not sure. I don't think that bail will still be appreciated.
yun.
But when he is there, I have not actually encountered a case where such a bail was allowed outside of the custodial state.
Okay. So,
Okay.
Pang
logistics-wise, so yung bail pwede hanggang for as long as
Nandito
he's
lang.
here lang.
Tama.
Logistics-wise,
Yes,
pag
under Article 59.
let's
Opo.
say na-extradite na, he has to stay there the whole time until the end of the trial, correct?
Yes.
He will be detained essentially sa The Hague.
Attorney,
Depende po,
on
opo.
another point, ang lagi kasing sinasabi ni ex-human rights lawyer Harry Roque, siya lang ang pwedeng mag-represent kay Digong sa ICC. So, ang sinasabi ngayon, si Bebot Bello daw ang haharap. Pwede ba yon? Di ba dapat accredited ka ng ICC para humarap sa kanilang trial?
hindi ko po talaga alam yung details na yan, no? Because there's of course an international criminal bar. If you are not able, if you don't have resources, the court itself will appoint
provide
a defense counsel. Yes.
Parang
But you
PAW.
have the option to hire your own lawyer.
Okay.
Okay.
So many interesting things. Teka ha. Merong post si Baste Duterte.
Yun na nga yung statement that we read out loud, but I think may...
No. They're insisting that PRRD get on a plane. Ito ba? One hour
ito
pa
na
pala
yung
to.
latest,
Nandun na yata yung plane sa Villamor na magdadala sa kanya sa Den Haag. Meron yatang chartered plane. Mukhang hindi naman siya ibabalik sa China
Okay. Well, Attorney Bagares, have we missed out on anything else? Baka meron pang is there anything else that needs nuancing here as far as you can tell?
You know, of course, we have examples before where there was no extradition proceeding, but this applies to foreigners who are being sought by their by their states of origin. Okay, but what the DOJ did in those cases was to just use immigration rules. They were deported.
Yes, sir.
But
Because that's
in
our
this
right naman
case, we have Duterte, who is the national of the Philippines, and the framework really that we are familiar with is that there should be an extradition. But as I said, the president, of course, can always say, well, it's my prerogative as chief architect of foreign policy that we should just send him straight to The Hague.
But can he do that? I mean, I know he's chief architect and all that, but there's no president for that.
As I said, the presidents we have are not on point, are not on all fours.
Yes, sir.
With that situation.
But
Yes, sir.
he seems to have a bit of leeway in this case.
Okay. Very interesting, very informative, also very confusing.
Walang presidents kasi.
Sorry, I hope I did.
Ang presidente dito
Unprecedented.
Pero si
Okay.
Ed kasi is learned
Learning. Ano naman, no?
Learning.
Okay, maraming salamat. Attorney Romel Bagares. Si Attorney Romel used to be a reporter, ha?
talaga?
Oo, di ba,
ng
sir?
Philippine Star.
Philippine Star.
Medyo marami rin yung pinagsamahan namin ni attorney dati. Huwag na natin sabihin kung ano yung pinagsamahan natin, attorney.
Okay,
Thank you, Attorney Bagares.
Thank you, attorney.
Thank you, attorney. Long time no see.
We also now have a comments from Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo. Sabi niya, this is a development being handled by DILG, PNP, and DOJ. We defer to all activities or matters on this issue to them. Baka naman,
What you doing? Ano yan?
Wala, pinapagpag ko lang yung kamay ko.
Washing his hands of
washing his hands.
Pinapagpag ko lang.
Washing his hands of what happened.
Nag-alcohol ka pa, ano?
Pero kasi, ito na yung sinasabi mo na point na it's out of the box kasi nga, we don't recognize ICC jurisdiction anymore and therefore, they can do whatever they want. Right?
Well, on the other hand, may residual obligation pa rin tayo sa
Normally
Supreme
kasi
Court.
it should have gone through DFA. Pero mukhang hindi nabigay
tayo
sa kanila.
nagsasabi na hindi tayo
Interpol to
magko-coordinate di ba?
We are complying with our commitments to the Interpol. Kaya ang unang nag-handle nung is PNP, DOJ.
Kaya medyo mali yung sinabi ni Solicitor General Guevara na ito ay dadaan muna, i-communicate muna
Sa
sa
DFA.
DILG, etc. Tayo mismo nagsasabi, wala tayong relasyon sa kanila. Pwede sila magko-coordinate sa atin. Ang magko-coordinate
Interpol ang
Interpol.
Ang kakapartner ng Interpol
Yes.
dito are law enforcement agencies.
Yes.
So mukhang the
Kaya
DFA is out of the loop on this one because
Hindi naman out of the loop dahil officially nga wala tayong relasyon sa kanila. Ina-affirm
pero
lang
yun nga,
ng
ina-affirm that this development is being handled by the other agencies and he has no more comment on the matter.
At si Senator Trillanes hindi privy dyan.
Okay. Bitaw na natin itong araw na ito. Mahaba-haba pa yung susunod na araw.
Okay, thank you so much for joining this special episode of Storycon today. Ami Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, Ronald Llamas, our resident political pundit na mukhang tuwang-tuwa. Look at that smile.
Hindi nga privy
Washing hands na nga
Ayan, siya din, washing his hands. Join us again tomorrow, 4 p.m. for Storycon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. We are One News, all sides, all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.